Let me introduce myself. I'm Chaney, and I'm in a class at San Diego Christian College. And so today, March 17th, we're going to talk about interpersonal communication, improving your workplace skills. So interpersonal communication doesn't just happen at work, but since we're at work, we're going to talk about that. And of course, a lot of these things we talk about today can be applied to other relationships as well. So what is interpersonal communication? Interpersonal communication occurs in a relationship. So this is your spouse, your coworker, your family member, friend. It's just not the McDonald's guy that takes your order, because you are communicating, but it's not a relationship. So the other thing that interpersonal communication is pervasive, which means it's all around us. It happens all the time, every day. We're texting, calling, emailing, having face-to-face conversations. In today's world, we're just constantly communicating. Interpersonal communication can improve relationships. Of course, we all know that. Better communication equals better relationships. But it can also improve your health. So better relationships can improve your health. Be more satisfied in your relationships, less stress, just overall better health. So sometimes there are communication errors, and I'm sure we've all had those where communication seems to break down. And so first of all, let's just watch this funny commercial and we'll see what it's, let me see here. Jeremy told me what to do to start them. There we go. And whoops, I didn't find it. There we go.
It's Sausage Sunday when we share sausage, just like family. I brought a broad hot tub, Italian sausage and peppers, breakfast sausage muffin tubs.
I misread the email.
Johnsonville, we don't make sausage, we make family.
So in this case, in the commercial, it was funny, the miscommunication was haha, and not that big a deal. But in the workplace, miscommunication can cause friction, can waste time, and cause mistakes, of course. So one thing we want to think about when something like this happens is you want to say, like, what a weirdo, how could he have misread the email? But actually we need to look at what did we write in the email? How could it have been miscommunicated or misunderstood? So that's something to just think about. So now we're going to talk about, I'm going to go back off. Okay, I'm going to talk about what makes a good communicator. And there are, according to our textbook, 5 things that make competent communicators. One is high self-awareness. So that's somebody who's self-monitoring. They're aware of what's around them. They're aware of how they fit in to, they're socially adept, not socially awkward. They're adaptable. So in different situations, they would speak differently, to a different, if they're speaking to CEOs versus new hires, they know how to adapt to that. They also have empathy, which means they can put themselves in another person's shoes. Cognitive complexity, that means being able to understand that there's a lot going on in someone's world that could affect their behaviors. It's kind of that idea of when you walk down the hall and Bill doesn't say hi to you, instead of just saying like, oh, Bill's a jerk, it's saying, oh, maybe he's on his way to a meeting, or, maybe he, has something else on his mind. And then of course, ethics. A good communicator knows what's morally right or wrong, and their actions and their words match. They're truthful. So we're more likely to trust them as a communicator when they're truthful and honest and treat people fairly. So now we're going to talk about some tips of helping our own communication. So some good habits to develop are be concise. Don't ramble. Know your aim and your goal, what you're trying to get at with your conversation. Be definite. This one's good because it's, instead of saying, I think, I'll try, maybe, you just are more definite. You say yes or you say no. Or if you don't know, you say, I don't know, but I'll get back to you on that. And that just saves a lot of time. Instead of saying, well, maybe, I think, and then the other person's still unclear about whether you were actually going to do the project. So the last one is check for understanding, which is always good. Restating what the person said to you, making sure that you understand what they're saying, and asking questions, of course. Now, there are also some bad habits to avoid, and I thought these were interesting. Of course, we all know about talking down. That's, treating someone like a child or, being rude. But talking up, I thought that one was interesting because a lot of times we'll do this. We'll preface what we're about to say with, well, this might not be true, or I don't know, this might be wrong, but, and so right away you're giving the other person the out, and they're like, yeah, it's really not a good idea, because you've already said it's not a good idea. So that's one thing to avoid. And then the last one is using you instead of I. So when you're trying to talk about a problem, instead of saying you never come on time, you bring it back to you. I need you here at 8 because that's when, I'm working on the report, and so it's just changing that from you to I instead of blaming the other. Okay, okay, so giving and receiving feedback. So a lot of times feedback is given, of course, in a yearly review, but there's times where we just have to give feedback to each other in the workplace. There's maybe been a meeting or a report given, and so the first thing is that it should be descriptive, not judgmental. So you're just describing the action of what happened or the action of what was done instead of judging the person. It has to address modifiable behavior. So obviously you're not going to talk about something that they can't change, but something that's related to the job that they can work on to improve. It deals with specific observations. So we're not going to use always and never. You're always late. You never turn the report in on time. It's when you're more specific to, this report on Tuesday wasn't turned in on time. It's just helps to identify the problem better and be more accurate. And then it's well-timed. So it says in the text to do it when events are fresh, but after you've cooled down. And then another good thing is just to ask, is it a good time for me to talk to you about, the presentation you just gave? So never hurts to just ask. So the last thing I wanted to talk about today is, I didn't get this specifically out of the textbook. I got it from some other books I've read on my own and just some of my own observations in life. And I came up with this acronym, QVCs, to just help myself remember, actually, because a lot of times you just, all of a sudden you're in a conversation with someone and you can tend to forget how to respond to different tricky or sticky situations. So the first one is questions. And this is a good one to remember when someone comes and they want to dump their problem on you. I can't get the printer to work. And so then you go, okay, let me stop, let me go get the printer to work for you. Instead of doing that, ask them a question. So put it right back to them. What have you tried? Have you thought of anything else? Have you used the new printer code? So it's putting it back to them. It's not that you're not willing to be helpful, but it's a good reminder to ask some questions before you just take on the problem. And then validate. This is a good one for when someone comes to you and they're just complaining. And they're just complaining about something, and you kind of sense that they just want to complain and they just want to be heard. And in those times we think we have to fix it and make it all better. And in fact, that was a book I read, was You Don't Have to Make It All Better. Because in reality, we can't make it all better. And we can't fix it. So someone comes to you and they're complaining about their boss, and he's just, he did this, and I'm just so mad. And so then we do one of two things. We either say, oh, you shouldn't talk about your boss like that. Or we become a parent. Well, you should go to your boss tomorrow and you should say this. Well, the person didn't want either of that. They just wanted to be validated, their feelings. And so just validate. Just say, gosh, that sounds stressful. Or, boy, I could see why you'd be angry. So it's not that you're validating the actions or the problem, but you're just validating the fact that people have feelings and that, you know, we all have different feelings on things. And it takes a lot of the pressure off you then too, because you don't have to make it all better. And then the last one is just to be concise with your condolences. So this was something I've actually had in my own life when I went through breast cancer. I found out the best thing to say to people, because I heard a lot of different things, the best thing to say is, I'm so sorry you're going through this. I will be praying for you. Or you're in my thoughts. And that's it. And so that's a good thing, even when, you know, oh, I heard that your mother-in-law passed away, Coco. I'm so sorry to hear that. That's it. That's all you have to say. Because a lot of times we do want to make it all better. We want to keep talking and we want to tell, oh, the time that my grandfather passed away, da, 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 you know, and the person just doesn't need it right then. So those are just some tips that I have had and seen in my own life. And I think that brings us to the end. Yes, it does. There's the references. And if you don't mind showing the audience, we'll know that I did have an audience today. And thank you so much for listening. That's it.